Hello everyone, welcome to Destiny 2. So, Moments of Triumph 2020 is here, and Eater of Worlds is finally worth doing. So, this video is going to serve as a little refresher for the people who have done it in the past but don't quite remember how things work, or if you're brand new to the game and just need to know how to do the raid very quickly, well, this guide should help you. So, we're just going to get right into it with the first encounter. So, you're going to walk into a giant room, and you'll be looking at Purple Lake. So, plates are going to come up out of the lake, and essentially all you need to do is jump across them. But you got to do it in a certain way. So, one guy is going to jump on the first plate, and another plate's going to come up. You'll jump to the next one, the second guy will go, and so on and so on. So, you're just going to get a line of all six of you going from plate to plate and working your way through the room. So, the only thing that will make you wipe here is if two people get on the same plate. All of them will go red, they will all go down, and it's going to be a guaranteed wipe. So you're just going to move from plate to plate, wait till it says reactor temperature rising in the bottom left-hand corner, and when that happens, you're going to jump to one larger center circular platform, and it's going to act as a little checkpoint through this lake. So when you hit that, all of the plates that you just were on are going to lock in place, and anyone who died during that part are going to be able to get across safely and rejoin you. So, at points during this encounter, the lake is going to kind of separate into two sets of plates. So, you're going to send odds to one side, evens to another, and the encounter is going to work the exact same. You're just going to keep jumping to the next plate and have everyone follow along. So, as long as you are following along and watching like a hawk where the guy in front of you goes, you shouldn't have any problems with this. So, if you need help with jumping, which is you really shouldn't, use your Lion Rampants or increase your agility. Just anything that helps you, fine, use it. But all you really need at this part is some good ad clearing weapons for the very end. Through the beginning and everything, the only ads you really run into are a few scions, and they're really not too much of a hassle. So as long as you and your fire team are leveled up thoroughly, you should really be able to get through this no problem. So, supers don't really matter here. You just need to make sure that you're really watching where the guy in front of you jumps. If you don't have good communication through here, where kind of the two paths have junctions, you're going to end up wiping. So just communicate with each other, follow the leader, and you'll get through it. So at the very end of this encounter, you're going to a big rectangular room, and you're just going to kill stuff. So let's dumb down this room to where anyone can understand it and make it super easy. So this is what the room looks like. Now, I have six little lines drawn here, all in different colors. So, essentially what happens here is each of the six colors represents a player of your fire team. If you are all brand new to this, you just have the safest way of doing it, line up like this, walk those lines, and from there you should be able to have the easiest portion of just everyone can cover a side if need to be. People can get revives. It's not really going to be a problem. So, if your fire team is high leveled and has done this before and you just need a refresher, by all means, roam around. Don't bother with any fancy placement, just kill stuff. The only thing that needs to happen in this room is all ads need to be down. They're going to drop in like 3 or 4 waves worth, and there's not really too many of them, and it's not really going to be that big of a deal. So your loadout, it's whatever you make it. It doesn't matter. I preferred to use the new Death Adder submachine gun from the new Prophecy dungeon. I find it to be very consistently good at taking out ads, and the Falling Guillotine if I need to deal with any large enemies. But again, it doesn't matter what you use here. Anything can kill all the enemies in here, and it's really not going to be a big deal if you don't use something that's meta. It does not matter. Use whatever you're comfortable with and just clear out the ads. So when Callus talks, you're done with the encounter, you'll grab the chest and you'll drop down that gigantic circular hole. So when you drop down, you're just going to go down the next little path and you're going to come to a room with pistons. Essentially, the room is this. So you're going to have kind of a Z-shaped path you need to follow, and you just need to go from safe zone to safe zone until you reach the end. The safe zones are marked by the little red L's. So all you need to do is make sure that you're just going from L to L. If you get caught out in the open when the pistons slam, you're going to die. So do what you do. It doesn't matter. You can skip some. You can go to every single one if you're very cautious. It doesn't matter. Just get to the end. No one cares how you do it. As long as you get to the end, you're good to go. So if you need help with your jumping, fine, use exotics. If you're not fast enough, use agility. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. It's not really a jumping puzzle. It's just a little encounter that Bungie stuck in here that you just got to do. It doesn't even have a reward at the end of it. So once you make your way through there, you're going to go up a hall and you're going to come to a cannon. The cannon is going to shoot you out to the next part of the raid. So when you get shot out of the cannon, you're going to fall down through a little series of rocks. So scattered in these rocks are Vex teleporters. You're just going to need to fall through them, and you're going to when you activate all of them, you will get a chest. So the chest at the end has a chance to reward you an exotic, and I mean, it's not a pinnacle reward, but it's still a reward, and you can certainly use it. So get that chest and work your way on to the next part. So the next part is Argos Phase 1, and it's a pretty basic encounter. You're just going to need to set yourself up with a defender at each spot and a runner for each spot. So the plates are the following. As you come down in the room, you'll have Void just slightly down to your right. And then if you look off to the left, you have Solar. It's kind of an orange little triangle over there. And then if you go up to the upper part of the triangle, you have Arc. So let's dumb the room down to where we can understand it. So you have a triangle, and then you have Argos in the middle. So on the legs of the triangle are craniums. So the craniums are going to be important. So you need to station one defender at Arc, Void, and Solar, and one runner. Now, the worst part of this encounter is just going to be cranium management. So you're always going to make sure that you grab the cranium to the left. So as long as you grab the cranium to your left, you should be fine. If you start stealing the other side's cranium, you're going to start risking wiping, because if they don't get a cranium, they won't be able to deal with their crystals. So to start the encounter, you need to have everyone grab their cranium and run back to their plate. So defenders, get ready. There are going to be plenty of adds there ready to guard. So grab the craniums and then work your way back. You're going to take the craniums to one of the 3 fires burning on the triangular plate of your side. They're all are pretty much identical. They just look slightly different based off of the color of the element. So kill all of the adds and make sure your cranium is in the fire cooking. Once it's out of the fire, it's going to be turned into a weapon you can use. So once it's out of the fire, you're going to pick it up and use it to destroy one of the crystals that was called out. So the defenders should be looking at the center diamond where Argos is being held and calling out any elemental crystals that they see. So the crystals match the elements of the 3 sides. So you're going to have solar crystals, arc crystals, and void crystals. So the defenders will call out where they are and how many. So when you hear that, the runner is going to grab their charged cranium out of the fire on their side and go use it to damage the crystals. Now, you got to refrain from grabbing an extra cranium on your way back, because if it's not the one directly to the left of your plate, you're going to manage to screw over one of the other sides. So be patient. Each crystal has plenty of time for you to deal with it, and you're really not going to have too much of an issue. So you just need to stay alive, make sure your defenders are clearing out adds as they can. If you need to get your health up and kind of sit back for a second, do so. Again, you have plenty of time to work through this encounter. So runners do not have to stay to a particular side. It's It is easier if you say you have one runner for each element, but everyone can float around and cover stuff as needed. So there are going to be 6 sets of crystals total, and as long as you deal with all of them, you will finish the encounter. So just make sure you're taking the correct crystals and getting them in order. The rightmost one is the one that is going to detonate. If they stack up and you start getting 4 of the same crystals and everything starts messing up, you're probably going to wipe. So simply make sure that you're really looking at the crystals and getting the correct ones. So as you progress through this encounter, the only enemies you're going to encounter are goblins and minotaurs. If you have a submachine gun, and a shotgun, and a sword, you're not going to have any issues with ad clear. So just keep rinsing and repeating, killing crystals, whatever. As long as you're doing that, you'll get through the encounter. And then you move on to Argos Phase 2. For the second part of Argos, you are going to want to make sure you have a long-range DPS weapon such as Whisper. You can use Izanagi's even though it's not as good anymore. 1K voices would certainly work, but you're going to need to change up your loadout to making sure you have one good ad clearing weapon and one good DPS weapon. So Argos Phase 2 is pretty much the exact same as Phase 1, except you're going to have everyone start on their plates, and then you're going to wait until someone can see 3 orbs, as you see in the clip. So whoever can see the 3 orbs is the side everyone needs to go to. In this case, everyone on Arc could see the 3 orbs. So look at the elements that the 3 orbs are, and then charge the craniums accordingly. If you have 2 void, take 2 craniums over to void, wait for them to be done, and then take them over to the correct side. So once you bring them all over to the side where the defenders are waiting, everyone's going to group up, kill ads, and then whoever has the charged craniums is going to start shooting at the 3 orbs. The 3 orbs need to be brought down at the exact same time. If they're not, you're gonna risk having to restart, and it's probably just going to be a wipe. So make sure all 3 orbs come down at the same time. Have someone in your fire team do a countdown. So work your way through this, have some just kind of kill all the hydras through here, and you're not going to have a problem. So you can usually 2-phase this. It's possible to 1-phase it, but you're probably going to 2-phase it. So if you're 2-phasing it, you got to deal with his glowing blue arms. So he's going to spawn platforms around him after you do damage, and there's going to be 2 blue arms you need to deal with, as you see in the clip. The blue parts that you have to deal with must be dealt with consistent damage. You can't do it with, a scout rifle or something. You need to have something that's doing constant damage, otherwise it's going to reset. So use an auto rifle or a full auto sidearm or something. So as long as you get through all of that, you're going to be totally fine. So as long as you kill the blue arms, go back to your exact same sides and rinse and repeat. Now, the only thing you got to worry about during this encounter is during the damage phase. He's going to start sending out exploding harpies at you, and when they come at you, they can wipe out 3 or 4 members of your fire team at a time. So when you see them, you can shoot them, but odds are you're probably not going to be fast enough. So just pop a bubble in the back when you see them. Have everyone step back, they'll explode on the side of the bubble. Everyone step out, keep damaging, and he's going to send like 2 or 3 waves of them. So have someone call it out, and as long as you deal with that, you're okay. But the exploding harpies are not the only thing you have to deal with. He's going to shoot out a cage at you. If it catches you, you're going to start floating off into the distance without having the ability to shoot. So if you get trapped, call it out to your fire team. Someone needs to turn around, shoot the cage that you're in, and it will drop you. If you're out over the edge, you're probably going to die. So I recommend using like lion rampants on the Titan, because if you get caught in the cage and get floated out into oblivion, you can work your way back and save yourself and keep doing damage. So sometimes his cages miss, but you know it's going to look close, but just watch out for them and just kind of have the common courtesy to turn around and look to see if any of your fire teams got caught. You have a total of 3 chances to kill him. It really shouldn't take you more than 2 at most if everyone's using good weapons, and it's just kind of up to your fire team. If you're all doing consistent damage and following the directions that I've put up, you won't have any problems. You'll be doing just fine. So, once you kill them, you are good. The only other thing that I would say at this part is you can kill him if he gets super low. Instead of damaging his little glowing blue arms, you can just do a little more on him, but you gotta call it close. So, now as I was saying, at this point you've killed Argos and raid is done. So Callus will kind of pull you off and you'll float off into oblivion and be teleported into a room. You'll be able to grab your loot and essentially the raid is over. So that's a quick refresher guide for the Eater of Worlds raid. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.